What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Destiny 2 March update video, and in this one we're going to focus on updates to the EVERVERSE rotation for the season. So typically with a new season or event launch, we'll do the EVERVERSE rotation and the items which are available for both silver and bright dust. So the goal of the video is to help you guys avoid spending silver when you can instead spend bright dust at a later date, and as we've seen many times, Bungie have a tendency to sell stuff for silver only for it to appear for bright dust a couple of weeks later. So we're going to talk about all the items that are newly updated with the patch this week. That does include Guardian Games items, but also Bungie have thrown in a few extras from previous seasons, and there's an interesting component featuring some Black Armory weapon skins and older seasonal gear from Season of Dawn, as well as Season of the Drifter. So there's a fairly high chance that Bungie are going to be reintroducing things like the Recluse, as the ornament for that has been added into the EVERVERSE rotation. That will probably land in the April update. Either way, we're going to go over all of the updated items, what currencies they'll be sold for, and hopefully this will be helpful for avoiding spending any cash on items that can be purchased for bright dust instead. So if you enjoy the video, a rating below helps us out no end, but now let's get into it. Gotta give a big shout out to todayindestiny.com for their EVERVERSE rotation, as this lists all of the available items for EVERVERSE. So I'll link that down below if you want to check it out, but in terms of updated things, Bungie have re-added a handful of older season armor ornaments. So from back in Season of Dawn, it appears that the Virulent set of armor will be making its way into the EVERVERSE store. We can't say exactly when it will be available, but looking at the Virulent grips right here, which is one of the Hunter ornament sets from Season of Dawn, each piece will come up for 1500 silver, but it's also going to be available for 1200 bright dust. The equivalent set for Titans is the future-facing set, and the same costs will apply there. Then for Warlocks, we've got the Wrath Trail set. Obviously, we're only showing gauntlets here, but these will of course be the full sets. And also from the Black Armory season, the Vanguard Dare Hunter set will be available. Again, that'll be 1500 silver, but it's also going to have a 1200 bright dust cost. The equivalent set for Titans is the Starcrossed set, and for Warlocks, it'll be the Symmetrists set. So those are Black Armory and Season of Dawn season sets. On top of that, the Season of Dawn seasonal armor set will also be available in the EVERVERSE store. These tend to be silver only, but it's worth a mention considering that these are all older reprised pieces of gear. So those are the armor things, but looking at exotic weapon ornaments momentarily, we will have the Classed of Its Own ornament for Vex Mythoclast, which is a Guardian Games one. That's going to be sold for 700 silver this year, but it will also come up for 1250 bright dust during one of the event weeks. Interestingly, from back in Black Armory as well, Bungie have added the Desert Camo ornament for the Minor Multi-Tool. This won't be sold for silver, but it will come up for 1250 bright dust at some point in the season. There's also an older Crimson ornament, the Iridescent Death, which has been added back in. This will be up for 1250 bright dust as well. And then we get onto some legendary weapon ornaments. And for the reprised Season of the Haunted weapons, the Callous Mini-Tool, there'll be the Defenseless to be Armed ornament coming up for 700 bright dust. Plus Bungie have added in the ornament for Last Man Standing, which is the Ozymandias, if I'm saying that correctly. That will also be 700 bright dust. And then, interestingly, we get the Itsy Bitsy Spider ornament for Recluse listed. That'll be 700 bright dust again. Given that Recluse is a sunset weapon though, as we've discussed, this indicates a significant possibility that Recluse will come back in one form or another, and this is most likely to happen during the April update Into the Light. That's not confirmed, but there's no other reason that we can really think of as to why Bungie would add this item into the EVERVERSE store. It's similar with the Necrosis ornament for Recluse. That'll also come up for 700 bright dust this season. And the Great White ornament for the Hammerhead, and the Hammerhead, of course, is the Black Armory machine gun from back in the day. So most likely, again, these are April update items. But the Imperial Decree shotgun will have the Unheard to be Told ornament come up, plus there'll be the Drank Baroque ornament, Alone to be Joined, and finally, the Beloved ornament, which is Unloved to be Cherished. And so those are the reprised Season of the Haunted weapons. Another one is the Fixed Odds and the Unseeing to be Shown ornament. And then finally, the Loaded Question ornament, Powerful Statement, will also come up this season. I know a lot of those didn't have silver costs associated with them, but certainly thought it was worth a mention considering that they're being brought back. On to other items though, and for exotic emotes, we've got the Just Juggling exotic emote for Guardian Games. This will come up for 1000 silver or 3250 bright dust. We've also got the return of the Perfect Swing exotic emote for the same cost, and then the Reigning Champion exotic emote for Guardian Games, as well as the Represent and Exercise Cycle exotic emotes. So those will all have a 1000 silver cost or a 3250 bright dust cost. But other reprised exotic emotes include the Let Me Investigate from Season of the Splicer and the Cowbell multiplayer emote, which is one from back in Season of Dawn, and that'll be 4250 bright dust. But for some legendary ones here, we've got the Toy Hula Hoop legendary emote from Guardian Games. This will be up for 500 silver, but can be purchased for 700 bright dust as well. Then there is the Touchdown Dance, and the same costs will apply to that one. Onto ghost shells though, for Guardian Games, there is the Padded Armor Shell. This will cost 600 silver, but can also be purchased for 2850 bright dust. Bungie are additionally bringing back things like the Nemean Shell, which is the sort of fighting lion themed shell, and the Izanagi Shell, which is a Black Armory themed one as well. Plus we'll see the return of the Bel Air Shell and the Simulation Shell from Season of Dawn, and again those will all cost 2850 bright dust. But finally, for Guardian Games, there'll additionally be the Tasseled Shell. This will be available in a silver bundle, or can be purchased for 600 silver, but additionally we'll have that 2850 bright dust cost at some point during the event. Then on to exotic vehicles. Unfortunately, there are no skimmers available for bright dust, but there is the Triple Bogey Exotic Sparrow. That's a Guardian Games one, 800 silver or 2500 bright dust. Then there is the richly caparisoned Exotic Sparrow. That's going to come up for 800 silver. It'll also be featured in a silver bundle, but can be bought for 2500 bright dust as well. Then there is the Bucephalus 3. Is that how you say that? I'm not sure. There's a certain part of that word that seems to stand out a lot, but this Exotic Sparrow will be 800 silver or 2500 bright dust. Then for exotic ships for Guardian Games, there is the Frontrunner. This will be 800 silver or 2000 bright dust. The same can be said for the Stygian Corsair exotic ship. And then we have the Championship Advantage, a new exotic ship for this year. It will be available for silver, but it will be available for 2000 bright dust as well. And finally, for projections and a couple of other items, there's the Trophy Projection for Guardian Games. This can be bought for 1500 bright dust and also 200 silver. The same costs will apply to the Gold Medal Projection and the Fervent Fan Projection for Guardian Games. On top of that, you can see here a bunch of icons for shaders that are featured in EVERVERSE this season. Many of them we have seen, but just like we saw in the first week of Guardian Games, we had the return of things like the RGB shader. None of these will be sold for silver, but will all be up for bright dust. And finally, there are transmat effects there, some of which are returning from Season of the Splicer. Then there are Guardian Games ones, Season of the Haunted ones, and a couple of others there. So just wanted to break down that Guardian Games rotation, but also some of the updated items that have been added in the patch this week. So very interesting that Black Armory and older season ornaments are featured. Again, I'm anticipating that we're going to see those return in the April update to some capacity, so I'll keep you posted if we get official news. But for today, guys, I hope the video has been helpful. If it has, a rating below very much helps us out on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.